and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday. And you know what that means? It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and a mixed bag of a week here to dive into. It's getting a little bit of the doldrums of May as we start ramping up towards San Diego Comic-Con, of course, 2025 at the end of July. Should be a lot of news and a lot of announcements out of there, but we'll have some stuff in between, of course. But a lot going on with toys every single day, not just Comic-Con season and Toy Fair season, things like that. But we're going to dive into it. But first, got to thank the sponsors of Toy News this week, jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15%. Yes, 15% on all in-stock items. Kudos to Jays for supporting the channel. And speaking of support of the channel memberships are now available for YouTube members if that is your thing. And of course, Patreon, we know all about that one. Speaking of Patreon, we got the monthly giveaway for April. Just a few days left to enter and get a part of that. Snake Eyes and Timber. Head over to my Patreon, link in the description down below if you want a part of Snake Eyes and, of course, Timber. Have to plug the podcast. Week number 4 this week of the podcast, my wife and I, each and every week breaking it down over there. We're talking action figures. We're talking all kinds of stuff. And a few off the beaten path stories along the way. It is the Kyle Peterson Show, wherever you find your audio podcast. And, of course, video cast here on YouTube. If you can, head over to your favorite audio platform, give it a 5-star review. Appreciate that for sure. But a lot of fun stuff and a wild one coming up here this Tuesday. If you're a Patreon member, you probably already seen the video by now, but this Tuesday will be episode 5, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, don't forget to check out Night Demon. Now, I want to give a plug for Night Demon and their YouTube channel. They don't really do anything with it. However, part of their record company deal and all this, once they get to 5,000 subscribers, I guess they get more money from the record label to put back into things. So long story short, sub over at Night Demon on YouTube there. They're dangerously close to 5,000 subscribers. Help them out there. Of course, Night Demon's great friends of the channel. Even did the theme song to this very YouTube channel. Their only instrumental song that's never been released anywhere else. They made it for this channel. So kudos to Night Demon. Let's help them out as well. And of course, last but certainly not least, my brand new book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, hardcover, softcover, pick your poison, or you can order from me. I got another shipment of hardcover and softcover books. If you want to get it from me, it will come with a sticker, limited edition bookmark. Got to get the deal out there. So enough plugging away. I'm a master of plugging away. Let's dive into some of the toy news this week. Like I said, not a terribly super busy week, but a few things to mention this week. And I guess we'll start off with a little AEW Jazwares. We got the 1 of 3,000 Mercedes Monet Shop AEW exclusive. Went up on Friday. I am assuming sold out by the time you're watching this. So if you missed it, you missed it, I guess. It'll be up to eBay there. Looks quite awesome with that big soft goods robe. Looks really exquisite. Yes, exquisite, I would say. Wild, though, at the AEW Shop exclusive, you get the Jazwares exclusive, the Jazwares Vault exclusives, obviously Walmart Target exclusives, Ringside Collectible exclusives, and we saw Mark Sterling last week for the Collect Major exclusives. So there's a lot of different places to get different exclusives from, of course, the Jazwares team. Gonna be interested to see where that goes, because I thought the Shop AEW exclusives were over. Apparently they are not over, as we just got Mercedes Monet. Another one this week, $90 for the House of Plaque 3-pack, of course, up on Jazwares Vault. Looks like a fabulous set. I think mine's supposed to be here on Tuesday. Can't wait to dive into that. Could be a last time in the line set, I would have to imagine. All points are pointing to that, of course. But a fabulous looking set, but $90, pretty stiff in the price point department, I do say. Is what it is, about the packaging, all that kind of stuff. But it feels like it should be maybe a $75 pack. I don't know. We'll find out in the review. Stay tuned to that very, very soon. Now, how about we dive into some retro wrestling? And of course, coming off the heels of WrestleMania, not as many things up for pre-order or just straight up for sale as I thought. We did get a new Zombie Sailor Toys Heels of Faces repaint of CM Punk. So we do have that coming in the pink and black attack. Actually, probably prefer this one over the last one. So I'll be anxious to get this one. Got my order in there. No word on the Danhausen, the Blue Trunk Ric Flair, and the Mike Awesome Gladiator figure that's been shown recently. I thought maybe those would be an in-stock sale for WrestleMania. Wasn't the case, so I guess we'll stay tuned to see when those actually go on sale. We also saw grapplers and gimmicks with Sergeant Slaughter. They got a lot of Sarges coming here in the future. They did show off some of the Sergeant Slaughters. All intents and purposes look pretty good, I did think. Just missed it last week on the toy news based on filming time, but we did see KWK Berserker prototype, and I believe that's the original Hasbro prototype image for the Berserker way back when. So kind of cool to see KWK use some of the history of retro style and making the Berserker in that style instead of the Hacksaw Jim Duggan pose he came in. If you had to ask me, though, which one I prefer, I always preferred the Hacksaw pose for Berserker. I think it looked better than the Tatanka Texas Tornado, at least for playability and the character, what it felt like to me. I don't know, choose your own adventure there. But the KWK one will be up for pre-order not too far from now, I don't think. So we got that coming. Latoony, another retro company. We got a Macho Man Mega Powers LJN style and retro style coming. So got to get the most out of your molds. We know how that goes. This will be like the 5th Macho Man, something like that, on both of those scales. So cranking out the Macho Man is what Latoony's doing. They also announced the Powers of Pain are coming to the Latoony lines. I'm cool with that. I like it and all. I just wish they would get some talent that we haven't had back in the LJN days or even the retro days. And especially if you're going to use those talents, I want different positions, different poses is what I would prefer. So we'll see where these Powers of Pain go in the future. We do know the big rubber guy's got his Powers of Pain not too long ago. So it's an interesting move business hat-wise with Latoony because you know there's only so many people that are into the LJN style. Only so many of those people want Warlord and Barbarian. Now, it's already been served by the big rubber guys. So a big chunk of that audience says, I'm good, I'm keeping those. So whatever is left would buy Latoony, or if there's hardcore fans that want both versions of Powers of Pain, but Powers of Pain, not quite Macho Man Randy Savage, not quite Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior. It'll be interesting to see how many units of Power of Pain Latoony can move. But I wish him well. I've liked the stuff. Everything I've unboxed has been first class, so I do enjoy the product. It'll be interesting to see where some of these go here in the future. But of course, here we are, the very end of April, and we got a hot Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes.
Well then great, you're ready for Power Town because it's time for the Power Town update, or I should say lack of update. There's no Power Town update. Hasn't been a Power Town update since the beginning of March. Here we are as we close out April. Remco's still shipping soon. We've seen that since January. No word on the Ultras, no word on TNA. What are we doing if there ever was one? We beat it to death over here. I'm starting to see more people in Facebook groups, more people in wrestling news boards starting to say what's going on with Power Town, which really tells me they don't watch this, which they don't have to if they don't want to. But I've been beating that drum for quite some time, as you guys that consistently watch know all about it. But man, I just keep going back. Whatever issue it is an issue. Obviously, it's an issue. Social media is free. They can send out an update to their people. They can send it out to the people that have put money down. They have the list of who they owe product to. They can send some kind of update. And I've heard from multiple people now that have tried to cancel with their credit card because Power Town is not answering any of their emails or anything saying, hey, I want to cancel, I want a refund. It's just not going anywhere. And apparently credit card companies have told people that, hey, you've accepted an item. Remember those free figures that were such a great deal? Well, credit card company doesn't know that you got a Vern Gagne. They don't know what a Vern Gagne is. They just show that, hey, you did receive part of your items. Man, oh man, it is going to be dangerous. I tell you, I'm on the hook for $1,000 with Patreon out of my own hard-earned money. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I feel for a lot of us collectors here because even if we do get the stuff, I don't know how they'll ever do pre-orders again. Nobody will ever trust this scenario. It's just a dangerous precedent, and it's really sad that something so good and so amazing has totally flipped upside down and basically ruined at this point. We still haven't even seen prototype in-package images of Ultras Series 2 or the TNA figures. I just don't think they're anywhere even near ready to be released. Remco's, we've at least seen some pictures of them in the package, so you gotta feel like we're gonna have them. I've heard there's China delays, of course. They say there's shipping dock delays. I've heard that from some people. Once again, that's great. It sucks, but it is what it is. But couldn't Power Town tell us that? Hey, sorry about this. We have dock delays. We have this going on. And then, of course, the tariffs as well. That's a dangerous one as well, because is that going to finally sink Power Town? Are they going to come back to us and say, guys, we're going to need a little bit more money from you guys because our cost just went up? Well, we're going to need a little bit of that interest back you've sat on for a year plus is what we're going to need. And you got to have your timetables correct. And do you want to pay Power Town some more money just to wait even longer? I don't know. It is a messy situation. It's an ugly situation. And you lose a customer a loaf at a time. You get them back a slice at a time. I don't know if they'll ever get a slice back at this point here. So dangerous update from Powertown, or should I say no update. Now, of course, next toy news, I think we'll be into May, won't we? We'll be in May by then? I think so. What is time? What is months? We'll see. Maybe they'll give us one update for May. I'm not going to hold my breath, though, at this point here. But I don't know. Dangerous game. And Asylum, you're on the clock, too. I'm not as worked up about Asylum because they've been a little bit more vocal about their issues. Not as much. A little bit, though. They've had some statements. And I didn't pay anything for those Asylum. I didn't pre-order them. I didn't do anything. They had some issues with the first one. I said, I'm going to lay in the weeds on this one. So I'm very happy I didn't put my pre-order down on that one. But if you did, you're in the same boat as Powertown. You're wanting your product. You want it. I paid my money. I didn't say I was going to give you an interest loan for the rest of your life. I want some product back my way. We'll see what ends up happening there. So long story short, frustration. That's exactly what it is. And of course, the tariffs, of course, Todd McFarlane, he calls them tariffs, taking hold everywhere. We did see Super 7 this week come out and say the tariffs, they're raising, 8% on all their action figures. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow. And I thought there was a delay on the tariffs. Maybe it was just no China delays yet. But I did see on the news this week that China is willing to go to the table. The U.S. is willing to go to the table. As I've said since the get-go, it's going to be weird for a little bit, but follow the money. If there's money to be made, people are going to do it. They're going to find it out. They're going to work it out. It's going to be what happens. Just mark my words. Mark it down. Say, Kyle, of course, an econ expert. Of course, the economy knows the economy like the back of his hand. Should run an economy YouTube channel, really, at the end of the day. Something will give. Something will happen. It'll work out. It always works itself out. I'm sure it will. But we'll see what happens. Super 7 taking this price increase. I also saw Entertainment Earth. They sent a note out saying they're taking price increases. And I saw a real world example where one of the things I've had on pre-order for over a year from them. What are we doing, Entertainment Earth? It's one of the 1/4 scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it was Raphael. Now I can't even remember, but it was like $20 more. It was like supposed to be like $119. Now it's like $141 with the tariffs put in on that one. Not fun, especially since I should have had that about 8 months ago. It keeps getting delayed, so maybe I'll just cancel the order on that. But I'm hopeful these companies, Jay's Toys and Games, cheap plug for them. They're sponsoring the channel, but at the same time, they're laying in wait. They said, we're not taking increases in stuff we already have in our warehouses. Why would we do that? Where some of these other companies are doing that, and that's a dangerous game, playing with the consumer like that. It'll be very interesting, some of these increases, if there is decreases on the back end. Now, most of the time, a thing increases, it rarely goes the other way. I can tell you at my day job, of course, as Bread Jesus, we've dropped prices on a lot of stuff, and you should be seeing that in your grocery store. So, I don't know. It's up to we should see it in the grocery store, but it's up to that retailer. Are they going to pass that savings to the customer, or are they going to line their pockets with it? That's the thing. So a lot of people say, oh, big bad Hasbro, oh, big bad whatever company. Well, it's not always that. Hasbro gives a price to Walmart. Walmart chooses the retail. We always got to remember that. Walmart can't control the cost, but Hasbro can't control the retail. Now, they can negotiate it and try to come to the same page, but you always have to remember that a little bit. And we see that a lot, and I see that in my everyday life every single day. So there you go. But a lot of interesting stuff coming with the tariffs, Todd McFarlane from the couch. So we'll see where it all ends up going. Just have to stay tuned and hope for the best. Keep our fingers crossed, and keep our fingers crossed what's best for our wallets, of course. But also, speaking of Target, Walmart's, all that, but this weekend at Target, we should see the new Legends line coming out. I'm sure they'll be in the stores Sunday, tomorrow, if you're watching this in order. Should be there. We should have the new Hulk Hogan Ultimate as well. Pre-orders should start shipping. We should see some Todd McFarlane new stuff as well. Kind of a set refresh date, I guess, at the end of April right there. So be on the lookout for that. If you're after some new wrestling figures, I know I will be, of course. But Sunday, Kane County Toy Show, I will be at Kane County Toy Show this Sunday. So if you see me, say hi, give me a high five. How about that? How about that? But there that is there. Hasbro this week. It's funny, Mattel about a week ago, we talked about them. They kept the WWE Mattel license. Well, Hasbro is keeping the Disney license. So they're keeping Star Wars. They're keeping, of course, the Marvel license, which is good. I'm happy everything's going to kind of stay the same right there. I don't want to restart Marvel Legends, all that kind of stuff. But it was a very interesting year with WWE being up, the Disney licenses being up, of course, DC license. We saw what happened with Todd over there. Sounds like there's not going to be as much shuffling as there possibly could have been. And I think it's a little bit of uncertain times with all these tariffs, probably. Who knows? But a very interesting move there. It'll be interesting to see if anything changes with Star Wars Black Series. As we did a video this week on the channel, it's so hard to say goodbye. I say, see you later, Star Wars. you have lost me. I don't know if they can get me back loafs at a time, but Todd, I'll be honest with you, this is just for you. If they do keep on coming out with some of these hairy bipedal creatures, I might be all in. I might just say I'm just collecting Ewoks and Wookiees, and that's where I'm calling it. But we'll see what happens there. But Hasbro, we'll see if they can turn the business around with Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, and some of the other properties here. Speaking of other properties, we saw NECA diving into the Superman genre with a 1/4 scale, one of those giant figures apparently coming this summer for the Superman movie. So we got a little tease of that. And speaking of tease, old Target Super 7 Deluxe figures, Tigra and Chitara hitting the market right now. And so far from what I've seen from images and pictures, those are pretty easy passes. I'm not going to be picking those ones up. Just nothing going on there for me. Not enough meat on the bone. I do need another Panthro in my collection because I want one for the display shelf and one in the Thunder tank. So when they do the deluxe Panthro, I'll probably pick one of these up. But these are great for people that missed out on the first run, want a cheaper option. I get why they're there. It helps Super 7 get the most out of their molds, which means extra money. It makes sense. Whether you like it or not, it makes business sense, I do think. So there you go. But what doesn't make business sense is Walmart. Walmart coming in hot this week. I usually don't get a lot of Walmart cancellations. I get delays, but not cancellations, but I got 2 cancellations this week. And the first one came from Super 7. I believe this was pre-ordered last September, maybe, the Red Laser G.I. Joe Super 7 Ultimate Edition. I gotta think the G.I. Joe Super 7 line is totally done. We haven't heard anything about them forever. There's no pre-orders, no nothing going on. Now this is canceled. It was delayed, now it's fully canceled. Do you think they told Walmart, hey, we're just not making this figure. We're bowing out of this line. We don't want anything to do with it. I don't know. It kind of feels that way, and it feels weird that Red Laser would be the way you die on your shield and go out with the G.I. Joe line. Once again, a lot of hopes for that line. Unfortunately, didn't succeed like I wanted it to. I've always wanted cartoon adapted figures from G.I. Joe, and Super 7 knocked it out of the park with Series 1 and kind of stumbled after that. And now Red Laser getting canceled. So we'll miss you, Red Laser. We never had you, but we'll miss you for sure. Also got the King Hiss Masters Universe Turtles of Grayskull canceled. Really needed a second one of those. I guess I'll have to wait and try to find it in the store. So Walmart doing Walmart things, canceling some stuff. And NECA doing NECA things this week. Once again, a very hard to find item being re-released on NECA online. Once again, don't invest your money in toys. If you're looking for retirement, toys aren't it outside of a few pieces, because this cartoon accessory set was extremely hard to get, very wanted on the secondary market. Now you can get it off the NECA store once again. So anything that's worth some money, anything that can make these toy companies money, just beware. There will be a re-release one of these days. I don't care if we're talking Hasbro, Super 7, NECA, Mattel, you name it. That's the name of the game in this day and age. It's all about the money. It's like a young Ted DiBiase tried to tell us when we were kids and we didn't listen. There it is. Besides that, not a whole lot more going on. We did see Hurricane Hordak shipping from Club Grayskull. Of course, I ordered it. I put my collared shirt on and I got my order in, and it should be here on Tuesday next week. So we'll see how that is. Not my most wanted for sure, but cool enough. I always like Hordak, so we'll see how cool that is, see what all the fuss is about. And then the last piece of the puzzle here, Ghost Papa 5 Skeleta, the brand new album, which will be an album of the week very soon in my podcast. Remember, album of the week moved over to the weekly podcast. Make sure you're checking out the podcast. There you go. But we did get a new Ultimate announced, going up for pre-order right now. If you order from Super 7, you get an extra set of hands. You also get an extra head pack. So if you're into that kind of stuff, head over to Super 7. Put in code KyleP at checkout to save 0%. Yes, 0%. How about that? So we do have that going on over there. If you're into Ghost and you've been collecting the Ultimates like I have been, you'll want to get this one as well. And I can't wait to check out the new album. I have heard the first 3 or 4 songs they released. I'll check out the rest of the album, and it will be a future, like I said, album of the week on the podcast. But that's the toy news of the week. I'm looking at my notes. Nothing else to cover. So, like I said, a mixed bag week. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a pinch of the other. Not a ton of stuff going on. But what were you most excited about? What are you hoping to see? What were you hoping to be in this toy news? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, on Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. Your best way to support the channel, as you know. Once again, check out the podcast. Give it a 5-star review. It is The Kyle Peterson Show every single Tuesday. Ready to go for everybody over there. And of course, don't forget the book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, you name it, it's over there. And of course, you can get copies from me if you want an autograph one with a few extra special throw-ins as well. Hit me up on social media or TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and of course, now on TikTok. And you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way to the Kane County Toy Show.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
We're going to the end of the line.